Okay. Magandang gabi. This is Trixie Angeles for Luminous. Um, let's see. Uh, Kanina kasi yung live natin sandali lang. So, we're going to take your questions ngayon. Um, okay, yung first, most pressing and most repetitive question is bakit hindi pa po na aaresto ni Senator Trillanes? Parang day 3 na yata sa Senado today. First, on the RTC case of coup d'etat, kasi we're working on the presumption na na-issue na proclamation recognizing that he either filed an imperfect application for amnesty and therefore it's considered not granted, or that he did not file an application at all. Now, given this, ma-reactivate yung dalawang cases. Yung isa is the case for coup d'etat filed in the Regional Trial Court of Makati, Branch 148. Yung isa po is for court-martial where he is facing charges of mutiny, conduct unbecoming an officer and a gentleman, disrespect to the President, disobedience to lawful orders of the President. So, ano yung, bakit hindi pa po siya na-aresto? Hindi siya na-arrest because pursuant to the RTC case, may application for warrant of arrest. So, until mag-grant yung warrant of arrest, hindi pa po siya aarestuhin. Like I said in the earlier live, mas mas safe kung kumuha ng warrant of arrest. Okay? For the RTC case. Ngayon, hindi kailangan ng warrant of arrest for the court-martial. Pero there are two schools of thought here. First is that the order for detention can be issued by the chief of staff, or the chief of staff can delegate that order to the head of the jugs or any other officer to take into custody itong akusado. Or the chief of staff can order the convening of the reconvening of Special General Court-Martial number 1 para sila po yung mag-issue ng order of detention. Of course, it is faster if the chief of staff issues the order. At pwede naman po yun. In fact, the order of the chief of staff, hindi nga kailangan in writing yan eh. Pwedeng verbal order lang. Ganun po kasi sa military. Usually because the time is of the essence here. Ang mangyayari. So, the military is probably playing safe. Para sa akin, it is safer for the chief of staff to issue a written order para yun po yung dadaling ng mga arresting officers ng AFP when they take Senator Trillanes into custody. Okay? So, yun. For the RTC, they're waiting for an arrest order. The military can act on the presumption na valid yung Proclamation 572 and immediately order the detention of Senator Trillanes. So, Senator Trillanes now has to go to a higher court or to a court para i-invalidate ang Proclamation 572. And then, in doing so, he can stave off his arrest. Now, bakit siya sa Senate nagsistay? It's on the mistaken presumption na may immunity siya from arrest. Ang Constitution kasi natin says that our legislators are immune from arrest when Congress is in session or the Senate is in session and they are on the premises of either the Senate or the House. Kung nandun sila, but may qualification ng ating Constitution at ang sinasabi, immune lang po sila from arrest for charges that are punishable by less than 6 years. So, in theory, kung may warrant of arrest na si Senator Trillanes, pwede na po siyang arestuhin. So the problem is the Senate issued a vague or general statement na wala daw maaaresto sa Senate grounds, which is incorrect, di ba? Pwede naman pong arestuhin si Senator Trillanes, but there's currently an application for a warrant of arrest. So, ibig sabihin, tama naman ang Senado na mag-intay ng warrant of arrest ni Senator Trillanes. Okay, yung mga nagsasabi, bakit si Senator Enrile noon, inaresto siya sa Senado because there was a warrant of arrest. Dito kay Senator Trillanes, wala pa pong warrant of arrest. And in fact, nag-file ng application ang DOJ, ang prosecutors, sa branch 148 ng Regional Trial Court of Makati, asking for a warrant of arrest to bring Senator Trillanes doon sa in order to be able to detain him. So yun, huwag kayong magagalit kagad kay Tito Sen. Kasi valid naman na sabihin niya, bigyan niyo kami ng warrant and we will turn him over. And in fairness, yung mga pulis naman, they were there in the Senate premises and they were negotiating. Pwede naman kasi na mag-voluntary surrender si Senator Trillanes, submit himself for detention while he is contesting the validity of Proclamation 572. Okay? So, ano pa yung mga tanong ninyo? Chine-check ko na yun. Chine-check ko yung kaninang post kung ano na yung mga tanong. Si Ma'am Paula Defensornak posted Presidential Decree number 1429. Ang nakalagay is it revises Presidential Decree 1182 and in Section 2 says disqualifies certain persons from amnesty under this decree. And it says, those who have promoted, maintained, or headed a rebellion or insurrection or who, while holding public office, took part or engaged in war against the forces of the government, destroyed property, or committed serious offenses, exacted contributions, or diverted public funds from lawful purpose. Okay? Ngayon, nag-a-apply ba ang Presidential Decree number 124? Ako, ang opinion ko is hindi. Because later yung my opinion is that it does not apply. Bakit? Kasi wala namang allegation that Senator Trillanes committed these acts. Exacted contributions, diverted public funds, etc. or engaged in war with the forces of government. So, wala pong allegation na ganon. Unless, i-cite yan ng ating prosecution doon sa pag-request nila ng issuance of a warrant of arrest. Ngayon, maraming nagtatanong, bakit kailangan pa ng warrant? So, once na-declare kasi dun sa Proclamation 572, nakalagay doon effective immediately for any officer of the law to take him into custody for through any lawful means. So, ganito yon. Pwede ka lang mag-warrantless arrest if he is in the process of committing a crime immediately before or immediately after the commission of a crime. So, kapag ganon, kahit walang warrant, pwede nang arestuhin si Senator Trillanes. But in this case, he is not in the act of committing a crime. Okay? So, yung mga sinasabi na meron ditong obstruction of justice, mga ganyan, wala pa po. Kasi nga, wala pa po yung warrant of arrest. Hindi pa po nagsiserve ng warrant. On the other hand, dito sa AFP, hindi pa sila, ang iniintay siguro is some kind of a written order from the Chief of Staff to take Senator Trillanes into custody. So, or the arresting officers only need to prove na merong kahit verbal order from the Chief of Staff to take Senator Trillanes into custody. Now, sinasabi niyo, if pwede namang walang warrant yung court-martial proceedings or the Chief of Staff can issue an order, bakit hindi pa nadidetain si Senator Trillanes? In this case, it is merely to keep the peace kasi magulo. So, as long as the officers who are going to effect the detention or going to eventually arrest Senator Trillanes can keep an eye on him. In other words, hindi siya tatakas. They can keep their tabs on him. They can keep him under surveillance. Then wala naman pong mawawala. Okay, what is citizen's arrest? A person who is committing a crime, in the process of committing a crime or immediately before or immediately after, can be arrested by any person. Pagka yung person na yon ay hindi law enforcer, then yun po ang tinatawag natin na citizen's arrest. But it can only be effected generally during the time na he is committing a crime or immediately before or immediately after. Pwede bang citizen ang mag-serve ng warrant of arrest? Normally kasi ang nakalagay sa warrant of arrest, naka-address yan to any officer of the law. So, kailangan law enforcement officer ang magsaserve ng warrant. Okay? So, wala pong citizen's arrest na pwede dito kay Senator Trillanes because he is not in the process of committing a crime. Okay? Or not immediately before, immediately after. So, yung mga nagsasabi na bakit di pa siya naaaresto, hinay-hinay lang. The reason the officers of the law are there, the reason that the armed forces personnel are there, is to keep an eye on him until the orders come out. Okay. Now, what can Senator Trillanes do to prevent his arrest? Well, one, he can manifest in the regional trial court and oppose it there kasi nag-apply ng search warrant ang DOJ. So, dahil nag-apply sila, hiningan sila ngayon ng comment. So, he has, in his comment, pwede niya pong i-oppose yung issuance ng warrant of arrest by questioning the legality of Proclamation 572. Okay? Sabi ni Susena, may warrant na daw. I disagree kasi binigyan si Senator Trillanes ng 5 days to comment on the motion ng DOJ for the issuance of a warrant of arrest. Kailan may issue yung warrant of arrest? Ngayon, if there is no action by a higher court like the issuance of a TRO, bibigyan siya ng 5 days and then the DOJ might be given an opportunity to answer that. Kung hindi, then the court will take that into consideration, will consider it submitted, and the court has, several days, can take its time actually, on issuing the warrant of arrest. Wala naman po kasing period na nire-require yung court so that it should act within a certain period of time, but it has to be a reasonable period. Well, in the case of the issuance of a warrant of arrest, normally the court will move fast kasi nga may possibility of flight. Tinatanong ni General De Leon, what constitutes an express admission of guilt? Is it verbal, written in an affidavit, or mere application for amnesty would suffice? Is a general admission enough, or would a specific admission to each charge be required? Did Trillanes do any of those? Number one, an express admission, according to Proclamation 75, has to be in writing. And apparently, it has to be specific as to the particular charges that you are admitting to. What is a general admission? The same Proclamation 75 talks about admissions that are contained, an admission that is contained in the application, which is described as a general admission. A general admission is non-specific. So you can say, I admit to all the crimes for which I am charged. That's a general admission. But the requirement of Proclamation 75 was to be specific, which means that you also admit to the acts that constitute the crime. So, in this case, the allegation made by the DOJ is that Senator Trillanes did not do that. So, madaling sabi, ayon sa DOJ, hindi naman daw specific yung admission of guilt or walang admission of guilt at all. Hindi kasi maliwanag din sa proc. Or even he did not in fact make an application at all. So hindi natin alam yung truth or falsity of these facts. But is an express admission, the express admission is also required to be under oath. Kaya, on the day dun sa submission ng mga applications for amnesty, may mga legal officers ng Judge Advocate General Service na nakaantabay doon at nag-a-administer sila ng oaths, meaning, kahit hindi mo ipanotaryo yung statement niya, kahit hindi niya pinanotaryo yung statement niya, merong mga officers doon na maaaring mag-take ng oath niya. Ibig sabihin, mag-swear siya sa harap ng mga officers na yon, and it would be the same as an affidavit. So, okay. Nahanap ko yung mga questions niya. Sabi ni Aljox, ang gastos sa Senate building, babayaran ba yan ni Trillanes? Well, kasi ganito yan eh. May reasonable costs that you're allowed if you are, especially kung ang activity mo is considered legal and part of your duty. So, kunwari, ginagabi yung isang senador at saka yung staff niya dun sa opisina, of course, gumagastos ng kuryente and all of that, but they are in the process of doing their jobs. So, sa ganon, hindi natin kini-question. Pwede ba natin i-question? Kapag hindi naman lawful yung activity na ginagawa ng mabutihing senador at saka ng kanyang staff, oo, maaari natin i-question, and that can be either malfeasance or nonfeasance. Pero, in general, it has to be grossly unreasonable para ma-question natin. And in this case, hindi ko naman po nakikita na unreasonable yung pag-stay niya sa office. Remember that is his office, he's entitled to use it, he's entitled to use the facilities of the Senate. Huwag po tayo masyadong harsh kay Senator Trillanes. Kasi, it's a valid activity naman. Wala naman siyang ginagawang masama. Remember, hindi pa po siya fugitive from justice kasi wala pa po siyang warrant of arrest. At hindi pa nag-order ng detention, from what I understand, ang AFP sa kanya. Bakit nandyan ang pulis at ang AFP? To keep an eye on him so that when the legal processes begin, they know where to find him. Sabi ni Rick Joseph, matagal pa pala yan. Okay lang dyan siya sa Senado, pero off ang kuryente. Para namang makaisip yan, lalabas rin siya. I understand yung galit ninyo, but I don't think naman na yung paggamit niya ng kuryente is grossly unreasonable. Of course, everybody is entitled to their opinion. So, okay lang na yun din yung iniisip ninyo. Para sa akin kasi, reasonable pa naman na makastay siya doon. But, wala ditong he's not a fugitive. He's just staying there kasi worried siya na baka if he's, ganito kasi yun, kung sinusundan ka ng law enforcement officer, tapos, makita niya that you're in the act of committing a crime or immediately before, immediately after committing a crime, then you can be arrested for an offense that is not related to the coup d'etat. Diba? So, alam ko galit kayo, pero yung pagstay po niya sa Senate building, ang tingin ko, it's still within the bounds of reason. Pero, of course, hindi ko naman sinasabing mali kayo. Naiintindihan ko kayo na as taxpayers, naiinis kayo dun sa paggastos ng kuryente. Mamaya may magsabing, sige, bayaran ko yan. Magkano lang yung increase? 100, 200 pesos, 1,000 pesos, 10,000 pesos. What if he offers to pay for it? Then hindi na valid yung galit natin, di ba? Sabi ni Ray Consolacion, yung clients mo ba nag-avail sa amnesty o inilaban mo silang lahat? Dalawa po ang nag-avail ng amnesty, pero yung iba inilaban namin at lahat ng inilaban namin ay acquitted po. Sabi ni Mr. B, alin po ang applicable kay Trillanes in case na guilty siya? Yung decision ng court martial, halimbawa death penalty, or yung RA which prohibits death penalty. First of all, hindi po siya death penalty kasi ang death penalty is applicable only in the civilian courts. Death by musketry is technically, well, it's considered a death sentence, but hindi siya covered kasi nung death penalty law. Yung death penalty law po, na-repeal na po yan. Pero, hindi po niya ni-repeal yung court-martial provisions. So, ibig sabihin, yes, applicable ang death by musketry. But, you also have to understand na yung penalty na death by musketry ay inimpose ito in the 1930s, in the early 20th century. So, it is possible na yung court-martial, even if they find him guilty, can sentence him to a lesser penalty. Sabi ni Nonoy Murillo, kung may lusot siya sa civilian court, sa military court ba wala? Well, it really depends. Kasi that will require me to evaluate the evidence. Hindi ko po trabaho yan kasi trabaho po yan ang judge. Kayunpaman, mas stricto po ang court-martial. So, kasi it pertains to military discipline. So, syempre, para madisiplina ang mga sundalo, dahil kailangan talaga ang discipline because you need them to be ultra-obedient in cases where life is at stake or the security of the country is at stake. So, discipline is a very important thing for the military, which means that they can be very strict in court-martial. Sabi ni Chris, ay, naku, lumampas. Sandali. Dito tayo sa laptop. Tumingin, ang bilis-bilis nung dun sa cellphone, sabi ni Jomer, kung revoke na po yung amnesty niya, ay, sandali, ang bilis. Kung revoked ang amnesty niya, ano yung effect nun? Effect is, babalik sa trial, both dun sa civilian courts, at saka dun sa court-martial. Saan po siya i-detain? Doon po siya, ang military po, ang AFP po, ang magsasabi kung saan siya i-detain. So, pwedeng doon siya sa military camps, or pwedeng sabihin ng military, okay, PNP, let the civilian court decide where he's going to go. May problema ba kayo sa concurrence? Bakit tinatanong nyo pa yung concurrence? Kasi ang tingin ko dito, hindi na siya relevant. The concurrence of the Senate and the House was necessary dun sa issuance ng Proclamation 75. Nagre-require. Kaya yung mga sinasabi, tama ba yun? Nag-apply siya ng amnesty, tapos pinayagan siya mag-amnesty, pero later on pa nagkaroon ng amnesty. Hindi po ganun yun. Yung amnesty, in-offer noong October of 2010, tapos ang deadline niya was January of 2011. After that, inaccept ng executive, ng chief executive, ibig sabihin, inaccept ng Pangulo yung application for amnesty. Tapos, yung kanyang proclamation ay pinadala sa Senate at sa House for their concurrence. So, ibig sabihin, yung parang ratification, but that's not the exact word, yung concurrence ng Senate at saka House made the grant of amnesty official. So, hindi, ngayon, ano pa ba ang significant dito sa concurrence? May mga nagsasabi na kailangan yung concurrence na yon ay published. I agree na kailangan published siya para magkaroon ng validity yung concurrence. But I don't want to go there. Bakit? Kasi yung concurrence na yon invalidates the entire amnesty kung wala siya. So kung wala yung concurrence na yon, everybody, not just Senator Trillanes, will now no longer have their amnesty because it is invalid. So, pag nag-reopen tayo ng kaso, hindi lang si Senator Trillanes, but everybody, including those people na nagkumpleto ng kanilang application for amnesty. So, I don't really want to go there by invalidating the entire Proclamation 75. So, kung ang hinahabol ninyo is that it is only Senator Trillanes kasi hindi nga niya kinumpleto yung kanyang application o hindi siya nag-apply at all, then I think that we should really stick to it. Yung strategy ng DOJ is to stick to this one. Nahanap ko yung mga questions. So, May nagtatanong, yung video daw, is that valid evidence dun sa application niya at saka dun sa kanyang admission of guilt? Let's start with the admission of guilt. Yung statement niya that he presented during his PowerPoint sa Senado, he showed the footage where he was giving a press conference at sinabi niya dun sa press conference na yon, something like, we are man enough to admit that we broke some rules in pursuit of our moral cause. That is not an admission. Kasi ang kailangan, aminin niya yung specific crimes. So, saying that he broke rules is not the same as admitting to crimes or to offenses under the Articles of War. Okay? So, yung ano na yun, I don't think that it will be considered valid. Remember, this is just my opinion. Ultimately, the court will be the final arbiter. So, valid ba ang documentation, ang video documentation ng kanyang application? Kung papansinin niyo po, yung documentation na yun, while it showed a close-up dun sa kanyang application, it did not show if that application was a receiving copy. Hindi niya pinakita na may stamp na received yung copy na yun, nor they were only showing it as, as the application itself, but they were not indicating whether that application was received or not. Okay? But is the video proof of the application? No. The best evidence, ayon dun sa ating rules of court, ang best evidence dyan ay yung receiving copy ng kanyang application, original. Ngayon, kung hindi na available yung original na yon, maaari naman siyang mag-submit ng Xerox copy nun. Yun yung second best na evidence. Ngayon, can you prove it by other evidence? Kasi things like itong video, well, you can try, but it is not, the court is not, kumbaga, obligated to accept that as evidence. Okay. Sabi ni Joseph, tinatanong kung impeachable offense ba daw ng Pangulo for issuing the proclamation. Ako, I don't agree that it is an impeachable offense kasi ano ba yung mga impeachable offenses? Ano ba yun? Sorry, bigla ako na blanco. Yung violations of the Constitution might be one of them, or treason. So, yung mga ganon, high crimes, other high crimes. So, nag-violate ba ng Constitution ng ating Pangulo? Grossly violate it so that he would be considered impeachable? I disagree. Kasi it is possible for the President to make a mistake, but that mistake does not necessarily rise to the level of an impeachable offense. Kailangan, alam niyang mali, gagawin pa rin yan, at it affects the national interest. So, dapat nasa level siya ng high crimes. And, nasa level siya ng, nasa level siya ng treason. And I disagree. Kasi you can actually invalidate the proclamation without necessarily having the president impeached, but questioning, pwedeng i-question yung kanyang discretion. Kung na-issue ba yon with grave abuse of discretion, then maaaring i-reverse yung decision na yon. And that does not necessarily mean na i-impeach yung ating Pangulo. Okay, next. Is trillanes' threat to the AFP, i.e. Resbakan kung makikialam, constitute a new case for the court-martial given that his status in the AFP is inactive? No, his status is not inactive. He is actually separated from the service. And if there will be, he cannot be subject to court-martial anymore for crimes that are committed now that he is no longer in the service. So, hindi po yan ganon. If ever na maano siya, na i-recall, kasi maaari din, kunwari, he questions the court-martial, the President can actually exercise one of the powers of the Chief Executive as the Commander-in-Chief, recall to active duty itong si Senator Trillanes, which means he can be recalled and be back in the military for purposes of being held for trial. It's possible. But of course, it will be up to the courts to determine if it is still appropriate to do that. Tanong ni Giko, is the case still open? Maaari po kasing, ganito yan, the Special General Court Martial Number 1, while it was dissolved, did not terminate its proceedings. Alam ko yan, kasi may mga kliyente akong kasabay niya. So, was the case dismissed? I don't have any indication that the case was dismissed because SGCM1 was dissolved. Okay? It means, in fact, that is the reason why some of my clients were able to be acquitted, because without a sentence, they are considered innocent until proven otherwise. And when the court got dissolved, then the presumption, because my clients refused to take amnesty, then the presumption was that they have been, eventually we got a decision that the charges were dismissed. Pero at the start, the reason they were reinstated into their service was because there was never any finding of guilt. Okay. Sabi ni Jason, kahit may admission of guilt, kung lagi naman siyang nag-i-incite to sedition, dapat lang bawiin ang amnesty niya. Hindi po necessarily ganun yon. Actually, kung nag-i-incite siya to sedition, the thing to do is to charge him with sedition or inciting to sedition. Hindi kailangan na ipawalang bisa yung kanyang amnesty. Well, unless isusunod nyo dun sa presidential decree, to invalidate the amnesty. So, you can go two ways. You can charge him with inciting to sedition, or you can take back the amnesty under presidential decree. Para sa akin, why take back the amnesty when you can prove the inciting to sedition? Complicated pa yun at least as a matter of strategy. Mas madali po kung i-charge na lang siya ng inciting to sedition, di ba? Okay. Sabi ni Ethel, in-interview ni Karen Davila si SOJ Guevara, di rin daw enough ang pag-admit. Kailangan i-retract ni Trillanes ang mga sinabi niyang taliwas sa requirement. One other requirement was to retract inconsistent statements. Nakakalimutan natin yan. Pati ako nakakalimutan ko. Pasensya na po. Hindi daw, according to SOJ Guevara, incomplete yung application for amnesty kasi nga hindi niya ni-retract yung mga statements niya na taliwas dun sa admission of guilt niya. Marami po siyang statements na ganon. Halimbawa, yung statement niya mismo na sinasabi niya na they broke rules. They only broke some rules. Meron ibang mga statements na pinaninindigan niya yung pinaglalaban nila. So, he had to specifically retract, or actually, he could have made a statement saying na inuurong ko na po lahat ng mga statements ko na binibigay na inconsistent dito. So, yung mga statements na hindi siya guilty of any crime, or hindi siya guilty kasi hindi siya guilty of coup d'etat because he should have been charged with another crime. Dapat din po naisama niya dun sa application niya statement saying na ibinabawi na niya yung mga ganong statements na inisyu niya dati. So, according to SOJ Guevara, yan daw po yung kulang. Remember po, right now, Senator Trillanes is not in the military. Pero, bakit mayroon jurisdiction ng court martial sa kanya? Because nag-acquire ng jurisdiction sa kanya on the day that he was arraigned sa Special General Court Martial Number 1. And ayon dun sa ating jurisprudence sa Korte Suprema, kahit kunwari nag-retire siya, habang nililitis pa yung court-martial, maaari niyang, then the court-martial does not lose jurisdiction over him and over the offense. Kaya yung sinasabi ni Congressman Alejano na 2007 pa lang, wala na siya sa serbisyo, then hindi na pwedeng mag-apply yung court-martial sa kanya. Hindi po totoo yon. Kasi, gaya ng sinabi ng Korte Suprema, once the jurisdiction was acquired, hindi po yan mawawala. Sabi ni Ivan, pwede bang kasuhan si ex-President Noynoy for giving amnesty kay Antonio? Kasi mali yung procedure. Ako I disagree. Kasi power naman po ng Pangulo yan to grant executive clemency subject to the concurrence of the House and the Senate. Maaari ba siyang kasuhan kasi tinanggap yung application for amnesty kahit hindi kompleto? Well, ang tingin ko, ang dapat dyan managot ay yung mga administrative personnel who certified na kompleto na yung kanyang application. Naghahang naman yung ko. Sabi ni Gigi, hindi rin sinunod ni Trillanes yung conditions. Sabi ni Benson, tinatanong ni Benson kung valid ang revocation. Wala pong revocation of amnesty. Niliwanag po ni Secretary Guevara yan na it's not a revocation but simply a recognition na hindi po kompleto yung kanyang application or hindi siya talaga nag-apply. Sabi ni Jason Evangelista, anong klaseng admission of children? Well, ang sa akin kasi, hindi nakakatulong yung galit natin kasi it might not allow us some clear thinking on this one. And kailangan maliwanag din yung ating pag-iisip para hindi rin naman tayo unduly harsh sa kanya. Tandaan po natin, ang demand ng ating batas is to always act with fairness. Sabi ni Prince Ponce, bakit si Trillanes lang po ang void ng amnesty? Ako, I don't like to use the word void sa akin kasi hindi considered granted. It was granted only by mistake or by fraud. So, bakit void? Kasi siya lang ang sinasabi ng DOJ na may evidence na kulang yung kanyang application. So, hindi naman daw po problematic yung applications ng iba. Bakit? So, naulit na yung mga So, sagot na natin bakit hindi pa siya na aaresto, valid po ba yung revocation, that's not a revocation, etc. So, ano pa ba yung mga nasagot na natin? Sabi ni Flor Ariza, the amnesty granted to Senator Trillanes and at least 38 other Magdala soldiers 8 years ago are above board, sabi daw ni Defense Secretary Voltaire Gasmin. Well, that's a generic statement, and that is not evidence. The statement of Secretary Voltaire Gasmin is not evidence. Kumbaga, ang best evidence nga dito, dahil ang allegation, ang certification na hawak ng DOJ is from the judge, if I'm not mistaken, the Judge Advocate General's Office, saying na wala po siyang extant or wala silang record of his application. So, kahit 10 anghel ang magsabing meron siyang application, hindi po yun pruweba. Ang kailangan pong pruweba dito, ang best evidence, ay yung receiving copy nga ng kanyang application. Ngayon, merong mga nagsasabi, hindi na fair yan. Kasi, ang evidence ng kanyang amnesty, ang evidence na siya ay na-absuelto na, napawalang sala, o napawala yung krimen, ay yung fact na meron siyang certificate of amnesty. Hindi po pruweba yung certificate of amnesty niya to show na kumpleto yung requirements. Pero, maaari niyang i-consider na presumption. Okay. So, may presumption na valid yung kanyang amnesty. Ang may burden of proof ay yung DOJ. Kaya nga po, dun sa kanilang motion, present nila yung ebidensya nila at yung ebidensya nila ay yung certification ng kanyang application, that his application is incomplete, o kaya yung application niya ay hindi nag-exist. So, ngayon may ebidensya na sila, kailangan ngayon itunggali or i-oppose ng kabila by presenting contrary evidence dun sa ebidensya na hawak ngayon ng DOJ. Okay? So, yung yung kahit sumumpa pa si former Defense Secretary Voltaire Gasmin, hindi po siya ganun ka-relevant sa pagpapatunay kung valid or complete yung application ni Senator Trillanes. Sabi ni Gina Fe, nag-apply naman daw si Trillanes last 2011 pero binigyan na siya ng amnesty noong 2010. In-explain ko po ito earlier. Yung offer of amnesty was given sometime in October or September 2010. Tapos, may deadline ng applications ng January 2011. Tapos, once they were all in, pinadala na ng Pangulo sa Senate at sa House yung kanyang proclamation for their concurrence. So, in theory, the grant was actually given earlier, pero the concurrence of the Senate and House completed the process of the grant. Sabi ni... okay. Sabi ni Maria Lourdes Gutierrez na sa pawan ng amnesty application yung court martial noon. Hindi po na sa pawan. Sorry. Hindi po na sa pawan. Kasama po sa amnesty yung court martial proceedings. Yung mga charges for which he was held for court martial. Okay. Ngayon, bakit pumunta sa Korte Suprema si Attorney Ray Robles na kinatawan ni Senator Trillanes? They're going to para sa akin, umaakyat na lang sila sa Korte Suprema para makakuha ng restraining order para matigil yung proceedings dun sa RTC at ma-declare na invalid yung Proclamation 572. Pwede ba yon? Of course, pwede yon. Pero it is possible, kasi may proceedings dito sa RTC, kailangan tatanungin ng court, bakit sa amin ka pumupunta? Bakit hindi nyo tinatapos yung proceedings dun sa RTC? So that will be the first issue that the court will have to decide on. Kung sabihin ng Supreme Court, teka, premature ka, tapusin nyo muna yung dun sa RTC kasi pwede naman niyang i-oppose yung motion ng DOJ for the issuance of the warrant of arrest. Okay? So, hindi ko na po binabasa yung mga angry statements kasi sayang yung oras. Sabi ni Christopher Garcia, bakit nagtatago si Trillanes sa Senado? Bakit nag-explain siya sa media? Hindi ba dapat sa court? Well, yung pag-explain niya sa media, kasama naman po yan doon sa kanyang freedom of speech and freedom of expression. So, he can talk to the media. There's nothing wrong with that. Hindi pa po sub judice yung kaso, or at least hindi pa po naglilitis yung kaso. So, he's still allowed to talk. Bakit nandun siya sa Senado? Well, it's his office. He can stay there. In theory, I think that he is there because he feels safer there na he won't be arbitrarily arrested. Whether or not valid yung kanyang takot na baka bigla na lang siyang arestuhin sa labas kahit walang warrant, that is up to you to decide whether or not reasonable yung kanyang kaba. Sabi ni Chris, Chris lumampas. Ayun, posible po ba na meron na siyang talagang application pero hinugot ng kung sino-sino sa DND archives at sinunog? If you're asking if it is possible, I'm saying that anything is possible, but if you're going to say that, kailangan patunayan niyo po yun. Hindi naman po fair na mag-aakusa tayo ng mga government officials of committing a crime. Diba? Something like that. Hindi po maganda yon. Kung gagawa kayo ng statement na ganyan, make sure that it is substantiated. Okay, next. Sabi ni Miller, if court-martial is applied, is it the same as the case of... Yes. Kaya nga sinasabi ko na jurisdiction once acquired is not lost. Kasi ganun po yung nangyari kay dating Colonel Abadilla. Nandun siya sa... kino-court-martial siya, tapos either nag-retire siya or naging governor yata siya. So sabi ng hukuman, even then, the court did not lose jurisdiction over you kasi na-acquire na ng court martial. So even if you're not considered being in the service anymore, then maaari ka pa rin ilitis by court martial. Ni-reiterate po ng ating Korte Suprema dun sa kaso ni General Carlos Garcia. At sinabi na kahit nag-retire na si General Garcia, ay tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang court martial niya. Sabi ni Dexter, teka, lumampas. Pabalikan ko yung Dexter, ha. Ano pa ba? So, yung iba kasi nasagot ko na eh. Sabi ni Gigi, paano yan? Nasa Supreme Court si Trillanes, pumunta para humingi ng TRO. Pero, impeach naman ng boyfriend niya si Alejandro yung mga justices katulad ni C.J. De Castro. Ganito po yun. Pwede naman po kayong mag-speculate tungkol dun sa magiging reaksyon ng 7 mahistrado ng Korte Suprema doon sa kanilang impeachment complaint. Pero ako, I would prefer to think na ang ating mga mahistrado ng Korte Suprema can rise above the situation. And in fact, ang presumption natin dito is that they will act with regularity, they will act with impartiality, and with objectivity dito sa kaso ni Senator Trillanes, regardless of the fact na si Congressman Alejandro, nakapartimate at kaibigan ni Senator Trillanes, ay nag-file ng impeachment complaint at in fact, in recent finding is that sufficient inform yung impeachment complaint na ito. Our presumption is always that our justices will act with not just with regularity but with impartiality, with objectivity, and in accordance with the law and the rules of court. So, hindi niyo pwedeng sabihin na paano yan. Paano yan? Because the presumption is that they will act not only with regularity but with the highest standards. Sabi ni Joseph, yung statement ni Attorney Robles kanina sa filing, sabi niya na dismiss na daw yung mga kaso ni Lieutenant Senior Grade Trillanes. Ganito po kasi yun, yung ang court martial. Hindi enough na may decision ang court martial of dismissal. Ang final order comes from the office of the President. So, sinasubmit yan. So, dapat ang pinapakita ni Attorney Ray Robles ay yung decision ng Office of the President affirming the decision of the Court Martial. Of course, we can presume na yung decision ng Court Martial is sufficient kasi nga, nasa labas na siya. Pero, ang tingin ko dyan is, it is sufficient only insofar as the amnesty can be applied. But if wala pong amnesty, then kailangan pang umusbong yung dismissal na yon to the Office of the President. Kasi the final authority on courts martial is still the President. Okay, tatandaan niyo po yan. Sa court martial, Presidente ang final say dyan. At anong powers ng President dito sa court martial as Commander-in-Chief? Maaari niyang i-overturn yung decision ng court martial, maaari niyang dagdagan yung penalty, maaari niyang bawasan yung penalty, and maaari niyang ibaliwala yung buong proceedings. So, matindi yung discretion ng ating Pangulo or ng Pangulo over courts martial. Okay, hanap pa tayo. Sabi ni Jessie, kung may mag-require ba ng oral argument sa Supreme Court, sino magiging representative ng government? Si Kalida ba o si President Duterte? The Solgen po represents the government. Sabi ni JR, bakit ganon yung mga kaparian daw ay nakikialam? Sorry, lumalampas. Lumampas na naman. Nakikialam ba ang mga pare? I don't think na nakikialam sila. Yung pag-pray over nila dito kay Senator Trillanes ay kasama dun sa kanilang pag-practice ng kanilang paniniwala. So it's part of their religious expression, part of their religious beliefs. So, wag naman natin ipagkaila yung pray over nila na ganon. Pero pwede rin natin naman sila, but they are not immune from our criticism. They're not committing a crime when they do that. So, huwag tayong magalit to the point na gusto natin makulong yung mga pari natin. We can disagree with them. So, ganun na lang po. Ano natin ha? Ang bilis kasi ng mga questions. Sabi ni Benedictus, possible bang bigyan siya ng amnesty bago siya mag-file? Sinabi ko na yon ha? Remember, ito yung timetable. In-offer ng October, nag-submit ng January. Once they were all in, sinubmit sa House at saka sa Senate for their concurrence. There's nothing irregular po. At least my opinion is that there's nothing irregular with that. Sabi ni Omar, what happened to the presumption of regularity? The presumption of regularity can be overturned with evidence. Kaya nga po, nag-file ng motion ang ating prosecutor dun sa RTC at nagpresenta sila ng certification of the absence of his application. So, kinontest niya ngayon. So, yung presumption of regularity, hindi na po mag-a-apply kasi meron na pong ebidensya dito na kailangan i-controvert ng kabila. Ano yung controvert? Ibig sabihin, kailangan magpresenta na rin sila ng ebidensya nila kung sabihin ng judge. Kasi ganito yan, no? If you submit evidence, then what you're doing is you're challenging the presumption of regularity. Pwedeng sabihin ng judge, okay, yung evidence mo is not sufficient to overturn the presumption of regularity, pero maglilitis pa rin yan to determine kung ma-overturn nga yun. Ngayon, dun yung comment po ng kampo ni Senator Trillanes, maaari din silang magdagdag ng ebidensya doon or mag-provide ng evidence na matutunggali completely yung allegation ng DOJ na wala siyang application o hindi kumpleto yung kanyang application. Maaari naman siya magsumite ng ebidensya. In which case, part of the decision of the court will be to say, na-overturn ba yung presumption o hindi. Okay. Sabi ni, ano ba to? Hindi ko makita. Sandali, bilis. Sabi ni Emma, magkaiba ba ang pardon at amnesty? Opo. Ang pardon po ay kailangan may conviction. Ang amnesty po, hindi po kailangan na na-convict sila. Ang pardon po is applicable to single persons or small groups of persons. Amnesty can be applied to an entire class of persons. Halimbawa, mga insurgents, yung mga lumaban sa gobyerno, yung mga ganun. So, identifiable class of people. Ano po bang kaibahan ng posibleng pag-aresto kay Trillanes versus Enrile? Hindi pa natin alam kasi speculative yan. Hindi pa na-aaresto si Senator Trillanes. Sabi ni Gloria, bakit sinasabi ng lawyer na Trillanes na hindi pwedeng i-arrest? Bakit nakalimutan niya may court-martial? Hindi naman po. Si Attorney Ray Robles is working on the presumption na dismissed na po yung kaso doon sa court-martial. For me, ang ginagawa ng AFP is they're showing that that dismissal is invalid in light of the proclamation. Ano pa ito? Sabi ni Roderick, do some of your clients have a copy of their applications? I haven't asked them. And they have nothing to do with this. Kasi yung proclamation is specific to Senator Trillanes. So you cannot say, bakit sila ba ganyan? That's not fair because only Senator Trillanes is under consideration here. Diba? And in fact, the DOJ was saying that based on their own records, si Senator Trillanes lang po ang kulang. So, yung pagdadamay ng ibang tao, that's not fair. Diba? I don't think that it is fair. And the presumption nga is based on the declaration of the DOJ that it is only Senator Trillanes. Sabi ni Bench, ano yung parusa sa mutiny? Under courts-martial, it is death by musketry. But it is also possible for the court-martial to impose a lesser penalty. And I think that's what they're going to do. Yung ibang mga questions nyo kasi nauulit na, no? So, para hindi na tayo nag-uulit ng mga sagot. Ano yung sabi ni... Sandali ha. Naghahang kasi ito eh. Sabi ni, ano... Court-martial versus RTC, which final decision will suffice? Both of them can give their own decisions. So you can be convicted in one and acquitted in the other because these are two separate rules or two separate sets of laws that are being litigated. Marami sa inyo nag-express ng inis dun sa mga nag-pray over kay Senator Trillanes. Now, you're free to do that, pero tandaan niyo, they're also free to do that, the pray over thing. Sabi ni Henry, bakit parating revoking? Ang palading sinasabi ng taga-oposisyon, yung mga void ab initio, ganon. I think nararapat lang kasi based on the facts that are found by in this case, the DOJ. Theory nila yon na walang ibang paraan, void ab initio, parati daw void ab initio. Well, the strategy, assuming na totoo yung sinasabi nila, the strategy worked. So you don't knock down a good thing. Sabi ni Roderick, can JAGs automatically provide a military lawyer? Yes, a defense lawyer from the JAGs will be available in case they are needed. Sabi ni Headley, sabi ni Father Dean Aquino, may impeach daw si Duterte dahil sa pagbawi ng amnesty. Pwede ba yon? As always, it will be subject to reasonableness at saka to evidence. Is this a culpable violation of the Constitution that rises to the level of treason? Ako, I disagree. Kasi you can challenge it as a grave abuse of discretion if your purpose is simply to abdicate or to consider yung proclamation as invalid. Is this an impeachable offense? Ako, I disagree. Yung nagtatanong kung ano yung death by musketry, death by firing squad. Actually, muskets kasi yung barrel. Noon. Sabi ni Sunny, kay PRRD din ang huling decision. Yes, ultimately, it will be raised to the office of the President. Sabi ni Christopher, ano bang pwedeng ikaso kay Trillanes? Sa ginawang hotel ang Senado. Hindi naman po hotel, bahay ang Senado. Sayang ang tubig at kuryente doon, etc. Again, this is subject to reasonableness. You can file an administrative case dun sa Ethics Committee ng Senado, but I don't think it will get very far because ako, personally, I don't see anything grossly violative of our criminal laws na he's staying in his office in the Senate. You're going to do that if you work overtime, di ba? So, I think we should be reasonable. Bagal! I have to get a new laptop. Okay, ang dami kasing ulit-ulit so I have to go ahead. Ang daming tanong. Sabi ni Anna, if the Supreme Court and Court-Martial is independent of each other, paano po magkaibang decision? No. The Supreme Court is the final arbiter of anything, and grave abuse of discretion can be appealed to them. So, the Supreme Court can also decide issues on the courts-martial. Yung mga, you can go up on certiorari for decisions on the courts-martial, which is what we did before. But ultimately, the court will decide based on the rules in court-martial. Diba? So, i-apply lang nila yung rules at saka yung batas na applicable dun sa court-martial. So, there's no conflict. Sabi ni Eric, Sabi ng AFP, since wala na yung amnesty, pwede na nila arestuin si Trillanes, pero sabi ng kampo ni Trillanes, hindi daw pwede siya arestuin without warrant. At sabi ng PNP, hindi siya pwedeng maaresto without warrant. Ano bang totoo nito? Kailangan pong hiwalayin ninyo. Sinagot ko na po kasi yung tanong na yon. Iba po ang court-martial, iba po yung trial, yung civilian court. Doon po applicable yung opinion ng PNP, they need a warrant to effect an arrest. Pero sa court-martial, a verbal order from the chief of staff or in a verbal or written order from the chief of staff is sufficient to take him back into custody. Sabi ni Julius, may obstruction of justice ba dito? Sinabi rin natin earlier on, wala po po. Kasi hindi po nagsaserve ng warrant. Sabi ni Flexi, ano meron at inofera ni Pinoy si Trillanes ng amnesty even before he applied? Hindi po. The offer of amnesty came ahead and then acceptance after the application was made. Sabi ni Dolly, after his term as senator, pwede pa rin ba siya magtago sa Senado kung sakaling tumagal ang argument? Hindi na po. He cannot use his Senate office when he's no longer senator. Sabi ni Glenn, pwede din bang makasuhan si Trillanes sa mga pagbabanta niya sa presidente na malapit na? Then matapos o di matatapos ni presidente ang term. Okay, ganito. For whatever Senator Trillanes says during a privileged speech, during an investigation, and in the course of dispensing his duties as a senator, he has immunity for that. Okay? But if for something that he says outside of the Senate, in a press conference, basta hindi relating to his Senate duties, then he can be held liable. So, pwede siyang makasuhan ng libel, pwede siyang makasuhan ng mga inciting to sedition, etc. As long as wala siya sa loob ng Senado, and he is not dispensing his duties as a senator or his mandate as a senator. Okay. Isa-summarize ko yung mga tanong kasi paulit-ulit na. So, ulitin natin yung ibang mga, i-recap natin yung mga sinagot na natin. Number 1, bakit hindi siya na-aresto? Bakit hindi pa siya nabibitbit? Bakit nandun pa rin siya sa Senado? First, he has a right to be in the Senate. He's a senator. He has a right to use his office. Second, why is he not being arrested? For the case in the RTC, nag-apply pa lang po ng warrant of arrest ang DOJ natin. At yun po ay hiningan na po ng komento si yung kampo ni Senator Trillanes para makonsider ng judge kung i-issue nga ang warrant of arrest. So, without that warrant, he cannot be arrested for the case in the RTC. Doon naman sa military court, kailangan, hindi kasi maliwanag if the AFP was there to arrest him. Wala pa akong nakikitang umaamin yung mga military personnel na nandun sila para arrestuhin si Senator Trillanes. Gayunpaman, did Senator Trillanes be arrested by the military, take him into the custody of the military for purposes of court-martial law po? Pwede. Ang kailangan lang po ay verbal or written order na nanggagaling sa Chief of Staff na binabalik siya sa kustodiya ng AFP para ituloy ang kanyang court-martial. Bakit hindi nila ginagawa? My guess is that Senator Soto is asking for a written order. So, until the written order is issued by the Chief of Staff, hindi po muna siya arrestuhin. This is merely a compromise. Now, until that is issued, then pwede namang nandun yung military personnel at saka ang PNP to keep tabs or to make sure that Senator Trillanes is within the premises or they know where to find him in case na may isuservan na siya ng warrant or order from the Chief of Staff. Okay? Third, valid ba yung presidential proclamation? The presumption is that it is valid. Senator Trillanes has the opportunity to question it dun sa RTC, but I understand na umaakit siya sa Korte Suprema para makakuha siya ng TRO to keep the RTC from hearing the motion. Ano pa? Ano pa yung umuulit-ulit? Bakit hindi pa na-issue yung warrant of arrest? Kasi dinidinig pa po. Ano yung mga crimes ni Senator Trillanes? Well, the crime that he is charged with in the RTC is coup d'etat. In the court-martial, it is conduct unbecoming an officer and a gentleman, mutiny, disrespect to the president, and disobedience to the orders of the president. Sabi, hindi na makahabol sa mga tanong ninyo. Pero yung iba kasi umuulit-ulit eh. Yung isang paulit-ulit, bakit daw nauna yung grant bago yung kanyang application? Hindi po totoo yun. The offer, and that's the last time I'm going to answer this. The offer of amnesty was made in October. He was given a deadline for application. So once the application was made, hindi yan ginagrant, but it was accepted by the president. But remember, it is subject to concurrence. So after these were accepted, then the Senate and these were forwarded to the Senate and the House for their concurrence. So yung concurrence nila yung nangyari afterwards. Hindi siya exactly, kumbaga, it could have been granted earlier, pero the ratification or the concurrence of the Senate and the House came after that. Okay? Kasi finorward yun after that. Okay. Dun sa mga nagtatanong, ano ba ng trigger, I don't like to indulge in speculation. Yun lang pong makikita natin na factual at i-apply natin dun sa mga batas na alam natin. How long before the TRO comes out dun sa Supreme Court? Well, it depends, no? Like I said, may threshold issues pa dito. Hindi po mahirap po talaga mag-speculate. First of all, kung ganong katagal, assuming na mag-i-issue ng TRO ang ating Korte Suprema. So there's no timetable for this. The court can act on it immediately, but it can also take its time. It can also ask for comments before it even takes cognizance of the case. Yung isa pang tanong na umuulit, impeachable offense ba ito? Ang may issue ko lang dito ay opinion, at sa aking opinion, hindi po ito culpable violation that rises to the level of treason or high crimes, kasi nga po hindi talaga kumbaga kailangan kasi nandun siya sa high crimes na talaga nayayanig yung state, that it affects the state, it affects public interest, it affects in this case kasi may remedy si Senator Trillanes to overturn the proclamation, to invalidate the proclamation, and the president is entitled to make mistakes. So, and when it is a mistake, then you can just ask for it to be overturned. Not every mistake in the exercise of discretion rises to the level of an impeachable offense. Okay. Sa amnesty po, ang mauuna yung pag-complete ng requirements o approval ng Congress. Hindi po kasi approval ng Congress, concurrence ng Congress. So they could have done it any way. Sabi ni Allen, kung kailangan ng written order from the Chief of Staff to arrest him, di ba nakasulat yun sa proclamation ng Pangulo? Hindi po. Ang nakalagay dun sa proclamation is to use any lawful means to arrest him. So yung lawful means na ito ay kailangan may order. So although acceptable ang verbal order of the Chief of Staff, my guess is that the Senate requires a written one. Yun lang po. Okay, unless may nakita akong bagong tanong, the criminal case numbers before the two Makati RTCs are different from each other. Ibig sabihin nito, attorney, ibang cases yung na-dismiss sa branch 151 yata. Branch 148 po, yung yung coup d'etat. If he was charged for something else, for the Manila pen, kasi I was not involved in that one. Hindi kasi na-charge or hindi kami nag-hearing ni Captain Faldon on any other case except for the coup d'etat. So, hindi ako sure dun sa sinasabi mo, Rodel. Sabi ni Mark, can he still run if he's found guilty dun sa coup d'etat or sa court-martial? Well, it will depend on the penalty that is imposed on him. Pagkasama dun sa criminal case niya for coup d'etat, which I think will be the case, masasama yung perpetual disqualification, perpetual disqualification from office, then hindi na po siya pwedeng tumakbo. Umuulit na. Yung mga umuulit kasi you possibly were not here, kailangan nyo na lang pong panoorin ito. Ayokong tagalan so that it will be easy for you to find the answers to your questions dito sa live. So, yung mga hindi pa po nag-share, pakishare naman po. Yung hindi pa po nag-follow sa Luminous by Trixie, Cruz-Angeles and Ahmed, Paglinawan, please do so that you will get notices of these future live na episodes natin. At the top of the page on the upper right hand, if you're using a laptop, merong see first. You please click the see first. At saka you can also click the bell that will notify you of any future live. Last few questions. Siguro last 3 questions. Kunin natin. Babatiin ko lang yung mga friends na nandito. Si Drew, Mark Lopez, si Doc Mimi, Francis Carandang, sino ba itong other people who are also watching right now? Thank you very much for that. Tumangkilik na naman kayo. Sino pa ba? Ano pa? Last 3 questions. Pwede bang citizen's arrest? Hindi po. He's not in the act of committing a crime. Or immediately before, immediately after. Hindi rin siya pwedeng warrantless arrest on this one because he is not in the act of committing a crime, or he did not just immediately finish committing a crime, or is not in the process or immediately before committing a crime. So, yun lang yung instances po na maaaring warrantless arrest. Kung tumakas siya from jail, pwede rin siyang warrantless arrest. Pero, andito din si Ethel. Hi, Doc Ethel. In this case, Senator Trillanes did not escape from jail. So, kailangan pa rin ng warrant of arrest dito. Nagahang yung aking laptop. Wala. Hanapin natin yung last 2 questions. Sabi ni Momar, pwede po ba sambayan ng Pilipino mag-aresto kay Trillanes kung ipag-utos ng Pangulo? Pwede po ba? Hindi po. Kasi hindi naman po ang Pangulo ang mag-i-issue ng warrant of arrest at hindi rin po Pangulo ang nagde-determine kung kung maaari siyang arestohin. Yung hukuman po yan. Huwag niyo po akong tatanungan ng mga porsyento na kung makukulong siya, porsyento ng chance na mag-i-issue ng TRO. Hindi po tayo nagsusugal dito. Buhay po ni Senator Trillanes ang pinag-uusapan natin dito. Sabi ni Angeline, pwede, once found guilty in coup d'etat case, pwede ba siyang umapila? Pwede naman po siyang umapila. It is pagka yung na-acquit siya, yun yung bawal kasi double jeopardy yan. Last question. May nagtatanong kung di siya lumabas ng Senado, matatagalan po ba yung aresto niya? Hindi po yung pagtago niya sa Senado. Hindi naman tama yung tago. Hindi naman po siya nagtatago. Yung pagstay niya sa Senado has nothing to do with whether or not he can be arrested. He can be arrested even if he's inside the Senate for crimes that are punishable by more than 6 years. So, hindi nag-a-apply yung immunity from arrest niya. The only reason he is not being arrested right now is naghihintay nga ng either written order, possibly a written order from the chief of staff to take him into custody or a warrant of arrest. And in both cases, wala pa po yun. So, wag po kayong nagmamadali dun sa kanyang aresto kasi nga hindi pa po tapos. It's possible that the Senate is asking for a written order dun sa court-martial. Remember, a written order is not necessarily a warrant of arrest. So, kung sasabihin ni Senator Soto na kailangan warrant of arrest, then he's only talking about the RTC case. Okay? So, sabi ni Mavi, nabasa ko kanina na dapat itong i-impeach. Okay, ulit, we've already answered yung sa impeachment na yan. So, yung mga nagsasabi dyan, and I'm seeing some people who disagree with my opinions, you're free to disagree with my opinion. Karapatan nyo po yun. Pero hindi nyo pwedeng sabihin na tumigil ako magsalita. Okay? So, maraming salamat dun sa lahat na tumangkilik dito sa Facebook Live na ito. Hingi akong paumanhin kasi medyo matagal po. Mahaba po yung ating kwentuhan. So, na-recap na rin po natin. For further questions, sa wall po kayo magtanong. Wag po sa PM kasi matagal. Minsan hindi ako wala akong time na magsagot ng PM. So, sa wall po dito, either dito sa live na ito o dun sa ibang, dun sa mga announcements ng live, maaari po kayo magtanong further tungkol dito sa kaso na ito. Just please don't ask me to speculate kasi hindi naman po tayo kumukonsulta ng bolang kristal dito. Maaari lang natin gawin is i-evaluate or i-appreciate kung ano yung ebidensya at yung mga arguments na sinusumite dito o na binibigay dito sa kaso na ito. Isa lang po ang panawagan ko, huwag naman po tayong nakikita ko po kasi yung mga komento kay Senator Trillanes. And while I disagree with a lot of things that he says, and I disagree rin lang po dun sa political stance ni Senator Trillanes at saka ni Congressman Alejano, I don't like making personal comments na, lalo na yung mga personal comments na masakit. Kasi hindi naman po ito relevant dito sa kaso nila. So I would like to act with fairness to those people that we also believe are unfair. Diba? Kasi that makes us better than them. Kung ayaw nilang maging fair sa ating Pangulo, ibibigay natin sa kanila fairness and justice. Because that's how we roll. Okay? Ganyan tayo. Ang dami pong mga komento na galit kay Senator Trillanes. Sige, maraming salamat and good night po. Maraming papasalamat uli ako dun sa lahat ng nag-follow at saka nag-like at saka nag-komento dito. Maraming salamat din po sa inyong mga komento na napakatalino at saka yung inyong mga tanong. In the manner kasi that we do this, marami din pong naliliwanagan or marami pong nakakaintindi, more or less, nagkakaroon ng understanding dito sa nangyayari dito. Again, good night. Maraming salamat. See you tomorrow po sa Karambola.